So the Dinobots versus the original X-Men, huh? Honestly, I feel like this fight is not remotely close, especially if we use like pre-current stuff here, because again, they're getting washed. So I'll do a favor and we're gonna use current up-to-date stuff, right? Even though this still doesn't kind of change the outcome here, but I'll do it, a favor here. But with that being said here, Beast, Angel, and Cyclops immediately get one-shotted by any number of the Dinobots. By themselves, mind you. And then that just leaves Phoenix and Iceman. Iceman himself, I feel like, would just get honestly melted, considering the fact that the Dinobots do not have any liquid in their system because they're Cybertronians, and the sheer fact that Energon is not a liquid. It's more or less a mineral or gas that's pretty much converted into this liquid like substance. So it doesn't really have any like blood or water like properties, if you get what I mean, right? But with that being said here, Phoenix herself, and even Cosmic Phoenix, because I've been trying to catch up on a lot of these Marvel, on a lot of the Marvel comics and stuff like that. So that being said here, she's an absolute monster, being able to disperse an entire dark god named Sloth across the multiverse. I swear that has to be the pettiest thing most of these cosmic entities can do. She can affect things on a molecular, subatomic, or even lower levels of molecules. She can astral project, telekinesis, obviously telepathy, because we already know Jean's already been an Omega level telepath for a long, long time. She's fought against the likes of Galactus, incinerated the Black Winter, because she on that timing, and has even been able to harm Thanos with the Warlock's Eye, which I believe, if I remember correctly, was made to be a direct counter to the Phoenix Force, and yet she was still able to harm him. And keep in mind, Jean herself also has the ability, which makes perfect sense, because as I emphasized in some of our older videos from our older page, Jean is noted to be the perfect host of the Phoenix. She is the perfect host of the Phoenix, and even powerful enough to transcend the White Hot Room, one of the highest planes in the Marvel multiverse, okay? So, with that being said here, I feel like Jean is going to be the reason that this makes it a high difficulty battle. However, I don't think she's really going to prevent her teammates from getting one-shotted almost immediately. What's by the Dinobots going into their fire breath form, or, using their fire breath, or just straight up them all duking it out. And believe it or not, I think because, again, Cybertronians can analyze and read their opponent's power levels and stuff like that, or at least read their opponent's powers and abilities, Grimlock would likely focus on her the most, while the others pretty much handle Iceman and the rest of them. I think Iceman's perfect counter would probably be someone like Slug, who's going to be able to strategically outplay him. But I think when it comes to Jean, she's actually going to give Grimlock such a rough fight that eventually they're going to combine into Volcanicus. And this pretty much is why the fight kind of ends here. Because let me explain Volcanicus when it comes to the Japanese G1 comics, right? Volcanicus himself is a combination of the Combiner Core, which is a small piece of the Enigma of Combination, which grants a combiner high levels of regenerative abilities, and then you also have Amalgamous Energy. Amalgamous Energy is the power of Unicron or Gaia, depending on which way you get it from. Considering the fact that Grimlock got it naturally from Earth, this does make him essentially powered up by Gaia. Gaia is an entity that literally rivals the likes of Primus and Unicron in terms of their power. So with him being able to use this kind of power, he's actually was able to literally blitz and one tap a evil avatar of Primus. Keep in mind, he also took attacks from him as well. And this same evil avatar, Primus, killed another version of himself that had the gold power, with this gold power again being able to give the person the power of the entire Transformers omniverse. So Grimlock killing an avatar, or at least an evil avatar of Primus, that literally surpasses the gold power itself in the hands of another version of its creator, who was also amped up by the Silver Matrix. So this Primus essentially had Macy himself, we know how powerful Primus is, easily a high universal entity that, created the entire Transformers Omniverse. Then the Gold Power, which gives you the power of the Omniverse as well, on stacked with a Silver Matrix, which also gives you a lot of power as well, considering the fact that, again, matrices scale to each other throughout the entire Transformers Omniverse and are able to harm Unicron, who is able to consume anything on a narrative level. So, with that being said, this means Grimlock not only surpasses the likes of, or at least rivals the Phoenix in power, but again, he has a power that likely could surpass her as well here. Again, I'm saying possibly surpass her, because I do feel like the amount of this energy can be a clear equal to the Phoenix Force. But keep in mind, Grimlock as well also has his own amps or his own power over the years, with him being a champion Primus. Then you also have the likes of the Dungeons and Dragons scaling, which actually gives him a good majority of magical resistances. And keep in mind, as I said in my how strong is Grimlock video, or how strong is Grimlock short video, this would mean that Grimlock would still be able to resist anything that Tiamat does. And this includes the same abilities as Phoenix, as Tiamat herself has the ability to lay her eggs and scatter them across the multiverse with ease, which is why we have so many forms of the dragons in D&D, and why there are multiple, versions of them. However, Tiamat was also able to kill the Hydra Queen and scatter her blood across the multiverse as well, actually creating loyal and obedient Hydras to her, Tiamat. So Grimlock not only being able to rival this power, but also surpass it, he can also analyze the Phoenix, and one of the few things I found out recently from Transformers, they can actually scan opponents with high energy levels and add their power on top of theirs. Meaning that Volcanicus here could easily scan how powerful Phoenix is and then take some of that power and add it to his own. So that means you would basically have Gaia's power, who again rivals Unicron and Primus respectively, on top, or pretty much stacked and mixed with Phoenix's power on top of it, which would actually make this fight go from a high difficulty to a mid difficulty in favor of the Dinobots. Peace.